Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this, which is the Headrush MX5. Now, James Ivey left this unit with me a couple of weeks ago, and I've plugged it in occasionally, and to be honest, I've struggled with it a little bit. And there's a couple of reasons why, and in this video, I'd like to go over what I think are the good points about this unit and the bad points. One of the good things about this processor is the fact that it is really reasonably priced. For what it does and for what you get with it, it's actually amazing. You know, you get all of the effects you'd ever need. But would I use it for recording? Absolutely not. First of all, let me just go over what I think is the bad point about this unit. Now, I've got it on this patch here, which is 003 Modern Plexi. Now, this is a slightly driven sound, or a medium driven sound. And when I hit the guitar, you can really hear the processing in this unit. This feels completely different to, say, like something like a Boss GT1000. Now, if I turn up my guitar and I damp the strings and I just play like some low notes. So you can hear this sort of aliasing frequency going on inside this unit that you don't get on a lot of other processors. Let me just play a couple of chords. Now you can hear as those notes are dying off on the chord, you can really hear those aliasing frequencies coming through. For me, that's why I don't think I could ever use this unit for recording. I think there's far better sounding multi-effects processors out there that will do this job and give a much more realistic sort of feeling and sounding amplifier. So what is the MX5 really good at? Well, it's got everything you'd ever need in a little mini effects unit to cover any sort of situation that you might be in. Now, for me personally, I would use this unit as a backup at a gig. It would fit nicely in a gig bag, and if your amplifier goes down, it would be a perfect replacement just to have up as an emergency. It's got a touchscreen, which, to be honest, is a little bit unresponsive, but let's not forget this unit is £400. And for what you get with it, including the touchscreen, is actually a very good price. Let's try and set up a cleaner sort of sound. This one's called the Tangerine 30, which is going to be like an orange type amp. Let's bring back the gain. To me, this is where this unit sounds best. It sounds better on the sort of cleaner to sort of mid gain sort of sounds. And you can get that clean on the verge of breakup sort of sound quite easily with it, and it sounds good. And let's try some of the really clean sounds. So here's a Fender style tone. Now that sounds highly usable, and again, if I was going to be using something like this at a gig, a sound like that would be almost perfect just to set up and then run some pedals into and just, you know, use that for the whole gig. Now if I click on the actual amplifier and we go through some of the sounds that you can get from this, this is a Blackface Deluxe with a actual tremolo circuit built in, but I've turned the tremolo off at the moment, but it sounds like this. Now, one of the things that I do like about this, and it was the same from the 11 rack, is that when you chose an amplifier like this, it actually had the tremolo circuit or the vibrato circuit built in. So I can turn that on. Let's slow it down a bit. And we can go a little bit further by increasing or decreasing the intensity of the trem. And we can also sync it to the tempo of a track. So let's go back into the amplifier and try out a couple of different amplifiers. Another thing that I like about this, which you couldn't really do with the Quad Cortex, is that when you change the amplifiers, it's loading that amplifier up instantly, so you can audition straight from this page. So you can really go through and actually find the amp that you want before actually choosing the amplifier. Now let's try some of the more mid-gain sort of sounds. There's quite a lot of inconsistency between all the different levels when you're choosing all the different amps. You know, some amps are really loud and some amps are really quiet, so you've actually got to delve into this and actually turn up or turn down the volume to really audition them properly. Personally, out of all the sounds that I've gone through, I think this is a really usable setting. This is the MS30. Now that is the sort of sound that I would take out and gig and maybe add pedals to get some more variation. Now when you're auditioning a lot of these amps, I'm finding a lot of them are really dull or bass heavy. Now this one here, it's pretty much unusable when you're auditioning. So you're gonna have to go in and really edit this patch. And I'm guessing that's the red channel of a Bogner. Sounds nothing like a Bogner. Again, as I said earlier, I really think the best sort of sounds in this are the sort of cleaner on the verge of breakup. The high gain sounds to me don't really live up to anything that another unit could do. Probably for about the same sort of price, something like a Boss GT1, which is actually cheaper than this. I think the gain sounds in that do actually sound better than the MX5, but the clean sounds in this, or the clean on the verge of breakup sort of sounds, are what this thing really excels at. I hope you guys got something out of this video. I don't really like being negative about a piece of equipment. Personally, would I buy one of these? I personally would not buy one of these. I'm glad James bought it and not myself. But I think it's okay. I think it's good to have in your gig bag just in case your amplifier breaks down. And you can pull this out and you could go into the front of house and actually get through a gig. I think, as I said earlier, it really excels at the more sort of cleaner sort of sounds. The gain sounds in it still sort of go back to that 11 rack, which is what this unit is based on. And that now is a little bit long in the tooth. And there are far better units that are out now that sound a lot more realistic and feel a lot more realistic than the 11 rack did. Anyway, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. I really hope you guys got something out of this. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe, click on the bell button, and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.